factor in special teams and the kick game.
Boston College won the toss, elects to defer, so we'll get a look at the Orange on offense right from the start, and it is an offense that loves to sling it around. Led by Kyle McCord, the transfer from Ohio State. And you look at some of the numbers. He had 5 interceptions in one game 2 weeks ago. 3 of those were returned for touchdowns in the loss to Pitt. And really the last 2 weeks, the aerial attack has not been there.
You said it. Last week he had his fewest passing attempts on the season and fewest yards on the season. Virginia Tech did a really good job in coverage against that passing attack. Hence why we focused on LeQuint Allen in the open. But it's an explosive and prolific passing attack when they get rolling.
Empty backfield. LeQuint Allen will take the catch, and he's across the 30, up close to a first down. Needed to get to the 35. He looks to be about a yard short. Boy, Allen is some kind of weapon. You mentioned it a moment ago, both in the run game. He rushed for better than 1,000 yards a season ago, but man, he can catch it. That's his 43rd reception of the year, and he is the all-time leader in career receptions among Syracuse running backs. He broke that record last week.
He's a complete back, and he certainly can be a weapon in the pass game, but he doesn't take a back seat on any of the ground game factors.
Slant down the middle of the field, and the catch is made for a first down across midfield.
You see the ace ump cam right here. Justice Ross Simmons coming across on a little slant route. Ross Simmons had a breakout game last week. 2 touchdown catches. Going into that game, really didn't have a role in this offense. They were explosive in the pass game like we've talked about, but Ross Simmons wasn't a factor last week. Took a hitch for a big gain, and it really got this offense and this team on track.
Yeah, you're talking about a guy who had a couple of really good years at Colorado State. He caught over 70 passes for almost 1,200 yards. He did not have a single catch this year for the Orange until that game last week. And he had 4 catches, 2 of them for touchdowns.
Yeah, banged up with injuries, and it was funny because we, talking with the coaches last week, you could tell that they were expecting Ross Simmons to have an increased role. And when he had an explosive game, no one was surprised. They knew he had the capability. It was just a matter of him getting healthy and getting back on track.
Shotgun and a high throw incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd down, the first 3rd down for Syracuse. You know, we scratched our head last week for a team that throws it as frequently as Syracuse, yet 6th in the country in time of possession.
It's unheard of. There's a reason a team like Oregon State leads the country in that. They're going to feed both their running backs upwards of 30 carries a game at all levels of football. Usually, and this year seems to be the exception, the teams that lead that statistical category run the rock the most.
Well, they're going to run it. That's a surprise, I think, to everybody in the building. A 3rd down, and it looks as though the offense is going to stay on the field, bringing up 4th down.
That's the type of play call from Fran Brown's staff of, let's see if we can sneak something on 3rd down and then maybe go for it, but they're not going to get it. Credit this BC defense for bowing up. I think if LeQuint Allen maybe gets a few more yards and that's 4th and short, they might think about it. But at 4th and 6, it's a different section of the playbook. Got to punt this one away.
Talked about the wind. The sun could be a factor as well. McGowan staring straight into it. And a fair catch is made. And actually, they dropped back that time. Isaiah Ferris, redshirt sophomore. They've got a dangerous return man in Jaden McGowan, but he was not back there the first go-round. So here he is. Thomas Castellanos, 21 years young, out of Waycross, Georgia. Played 1 year at UCF, came over to BC last year. He was a backup, but in the season opener, he came on for an injured Emmett Moorhead. He was a full-time starter the rest of the way and led Boston College to its first 7-win season since 2018. And we're going to see a lot of this today, turning around and handing the ball off.
Yeah, with Castellanos, really took the entire country by storm early on in this season with that Florida State win, and you could get excited about what he can do on the ground game. But these past few games and this losing streak that BC's on, it's petered off a little bit. That touchdown to interception ratio, you like 17 to just 4 picks. You love that side. You love his average yards per completion, upwards of 8-9 yards. But his legs is the factor that can make him a difference maker.
Turn around and hand it off once more, and that's powerful running right there. Kye Robichaux, transfer from Western Kentucky.
See the ace cam right here, finds that crease. Syracuse defensive line that played well last week. They're thin though, no Deion Wilson Jr., no Kevin Jobity, who's injured. They're gonna lean on some young guys there. So for Boston College, right away, you're seeing, hey, who can dictate tempo in this game? If the ground game for BC is working, it's a good sign to wear down this Syracuse defense for the Eagles.
3 straight runs, the first 2 resulting in a first down, and that's a pickup of 3. We've still not seen Trayshawn Ward. We don't know if we're going to see Turbo Richard. Fewest number of offensive plays in the conference.
It's completely different, both sides of the ball. Boston College, not a lot of offensive plays. Syracuse, tops of the country.
Yep.
Syracuse, on average, runs 20 more offensive plays than the opposing team. Again, who can decide tempo in this game? And if Boston College can stay on the field, that'll certainly help out all 3 phases of the game.
Well, if it ain't broke, right, just turn around and hand it off.
It's a defense for Syracuse. Elijah Robinson, their defensive coordinator, was actually a graduate assistant under Bill O'Brien. It's a Syracuse defense, started the year playing a lot of 4-down fronts with 4 defensive linemen right inside the box. They've shifted to more of this 3-3-5 structure, keeping 5 DBs on the field, which allows you to give the offense a whole lot of different looks. Thomas Castellanos is going to have to process all of that.
And breaking into the open field, and caught from behind, but all the way down to the 20-yard line. And they must have had a number change before the game today.
You said it, yeah, he runs right past him. That's a reserve running back for us, big play.
Penalty flag comes in late. Well, Jordan McDonald was wearing number 25. We heard he was going to play more today, and he's wearing 24. So that was McDonald, who is getting the playing time of Richard.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 8, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Justin Barron coming off a solid game against Virginia Tech. It's a guy that was a high school wide receiver. They moved him for a while to safety and now to linebacker. And it's 1st and goal from just outside the 5-yard line for BC. Robichaux in the backfield, and he'll take the handoff. And maybe a half-yard pickup on 1st and goal. In terms of scoring touchdowns in the red zone, Boston College has been very good. 26 trips, 18 touchdowns, and if you're wondering, in the entire FBS, that's 28th best.
It's the benefit of this identity. If you're an offense, it's much more pro style, which doesn't allow you to change your game plan when you get close to the red zone.
Castellanos lost his footing, and that's a big loss back to the 12-yard line. They'll spot it at the 11 where his knee came down, and Chestnut was right there to make sure he wasn't going anywhere.
That's the fine line with Castellanos' ability, is you want his legs to be a factor, but when he's trying to create too much and you get negative plays, that's obviously where it works against you. It is a 3rd down offensively for Boston College. It's pretty strong this year, converting on 46% of the trips.
So 3rd and goal, remember now. That's a big tight end. Morales in motion. Good protection for Castellanos, and he overthrows, had an open receiver, Reed Harris, in the back of the end zone. And so out comes a field goal unit, and this is a group that has really struggled, to say the least.
It's a nice concept, working Harris from right to left. Castellanos does a good job really waiting for that third window to get open. Just sails it on him. That ball's got to be placed on the back line and allow your player to make a play.
Liam Connor, they've gone through 3 different kickers so far this year, and you see just... And you're saying why? Oh my goodness. I mean, that was a chip shot. So the struggles continue for the Boston College kicking game. They drive all the way down the field and come up empty. You're watching CW Football Saturday. You're watching CW Football Saturday, presented by Verizon. $7:49 to go in the opening quarters. CW Sports Saturday rolls on as San Jose State goes to Corvallis to take on Oregon State. And then later, a champion will be crowned in the desert, the NASCAR Xfinity Championship in Phoenix. And then finally, under the lights in Pullman, Utah State against number 21, Washington State. What a sports Saturday it is on CW.
The Cougs keep winning. Have a backdoor shot into the CFP. A lot's going to have to happen, obviously, but one loss on the road to Boise State, who's the leader in the clubhouse right now, to get that group of 5 spot.
Yeah, that was in the first release of the college football playoff rankings. Boise State was the number 12 seed. First down carry for LeQuint Allen. Second possession for Syracuse.
Nice stop there by Owen McGowan as well. Cam Arnold, their starting linebackers out. McGowan's going to have an elevated role.
I mean, it is pass first. No two ways about it.
It's one-dimensional. They have no issue with it. They feel like Kyle McCord's their best player. Let's lean on him.
Incomplete across the middle. Jackson Meeks, their second leading receiver.
Nice coverage by the true freshman. Ball's on target. Receiver-wise, got to flip your hands around a little bit, but McShane, the true freshman, out wide. at the corner spot, battling all season long. It's a young secondary. It's a tall task for them going up against this Syracuse passing attack that has multiple weapons they can go to.
On 3rd down and 6, we mentioned 3rd down and how good Syracuse is. 50%, if you can believe that on the year. That's 8th best in all of college football. 3rd down here, McCord scrambling to his left. Flag comes in. He rushes for the 1st down and then some. McCord can run. And he's all the way down to the 28-yard line. But we await on the judiciary, and it's going to come back. It's holding against Syracuse.
Holding. Offense. Number 50. 10-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
That negates a 40-plus yard run.
They're going to have the center right there. They're going to get him. It's a twist game by Boston College working around. Yep, you see the hole right there in the middle. It's a good job initially picking up that stunt game, and Boston College got out of their rush lanes. Kyle McCord made him pay. Tom, I didn't think I'd ever hear you say Kyle McCord can run, but he showed that he could do it there.
I tell you, he ran it pretty well at times last year at Ohio State. And he has talked about how, that's one part of his game that obviously doesn't get much pub. He doesn't do a whole lot of it. And the stats are not going to show it because in the college game, they charge you with sacks against your rushing totals. Great coverage down the field by Max Tucker, the sophomore from Catholic Memorial High School just down the road. Had an eye on Amari Hatcher, but Tucker was there with him step for step, and the Orange will punt it from inside their own 10.
I thought this was a key aspect of last game. As you can see, Fran Brown getting on his players, winning the one-on-one matchups on the outside lanes. They struggled to do that last week versus Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech has some NFL caliber corners. It's not necessarily the case for Boston College today, but credit these young corners for battling so far. And like you said, Tom, Syracuse 0 for 2 on 3rd down, which was a problem for him last week to start the game as well.
Stonehouse puts the right foot on. Wow! Holy Moses! And Isaiah Ferris pops right back up. Oh my gosh. You wonder how in the world these young men can handle it. You're watching CW Football Saturday presented by Verizon. Mercy, mercy! No score, second possession of the game offensively for BC. And tripped up in the backfield is Jordan McDonald. Now, I was going to ask you, Max Brown, could you do this? This young man was stepping up there for money. And look at that, $500 in the pocket.
See, even
could you make that?
Oh, yeah, all day. My guy's even surprised right there. He's like, I can't even believe I did that. He was struggling to grip the ball, which gave me some concerns there. But, hey, gotta like the accuracy.
Hey, man.
They moved him back. They moved him back like 10 yards, and he one-hopped one to the net.
Yeah, I mean, that was too far.
Got to get my guy like a youth football or something so he can grip it.
You're right. Castellanos will tuck it away, tries to spin out of the tackle, is unable to do so.
Right there, we're seeing a little designed run, which is an element as when you look at last year for Castellanos compared to this year. This year, he's asked to do a lot more true pocket passer elements, get through his progressions. You know, we talked about it, 17 touchdowns in the air, only 4 picks. That's the great side. The side that you don't like as much is his run game numbers are down, and it's a byproduct of the offensive structure. It's what Bill O'Brien wants to be, and asked him about that decision when he got on board here as the head man, and he said, hey, it's not just about, hey, who we have at quarterback, but the guys we have around him. Boston College historically is going to have a physical offensive line, physical running backs. That's the identity of more of a pro-style offense that they want to get to.
Great protection for Castellanos, and the throw is late. And great closing speed there by Elijah Clark to bat it away.
You said it, Tom. Throws late. He's hanging in the pocket. You can see him bouncing for a second and the third time. Lewis Bond's there in that pocket behind the corner in front of the safety. You hang on that too long. Castellanos is lucky that ball's not picked. You might be thinking, I mean, what's the difference, right? I mean, quarterbacks, how's the progressions different from last year to this year? But Bill O'Brien's asking him to recognize coverages. We're seeing a shank punt.
Well, that was a disaster from the beginning. He dropped the snap and then was in a hurry, he being Candiotti, and then dribbles one and was lucky to get a little bit of a bounce.
We're seeing special teams being a factor already today. 2 mistakes for Boston College early in this game.
It's food. And Applebee's. All veterans and active duty military eat free at Applebee's Veterans Day, Monday, November 11th. And by the Home Depot, how doers get more done. You're watching CW Football Saturday, brought to you by Fresh Pet. It's not dog food, it's food. And Applebee's. All veterans and active duty military eat free at Applebee's Veterans Day, Monday, November 11th. And by the Home Depot, how doers get more done. Boy, always great this time of year, any time of year, to come to Boston. Such incredible history here. What a beautiful campus. You know, all the years I came in here and did, Major League Baseball for decades. You know, you'd go to your team hotel, and you'd go to Fenway Park, and then back to the hotel, and maybe a couple of spots in and around downtown. Never had a chance to come over here. And if you came here for football, you'd stay out in Foxborough. But this is some kind of place.
I hang around for an hour after our coaches meeting, just walking the campus.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Fantastic. Allen carries across the 40, and the ball is loose. And recovered by BC. Hutchins there to pick it up.
I was thinking this needed to be a LeQuint Allen drive for Syracuse. Again, credit this BC defense for showing out so far in the first quarter. That ball's a little loose just with that left hand. A punch out by the Eagles, and then Hutchins able to fall on it. But 3 drives for Syracuse, can't get the momentum. Eagles defense showed out to play today.
Davion Crouch was the one who looked like he stripped it out of there, and Hutchins covered it up. So the only scoring chance in this one, legitimate scoring chance. Boston College had the ball its first possession, drove down the field, got it first and goal from the 5. Wound up attempting a field goal after a bobbled snap by Castellanos and missed the field goal.
Defensive player.
And looks like it's Derek McDonald. Yep. Old school linebacker is what Fran Brown calls him. Young man who grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's go downstairs to Trevor Scales.
Gentlemen, just wanted to check in regarding last night's events at the BC hockey game. Family members of Tony Vos and Matthew and Johnny Gaudreau took part in a pregame ceremony honoring the 3 members of the Eagles team, former members, I should say. Matthew and Johnny were tragically killed while riding bicycles in New Jersey. By night's end, those spirits were lifted as the number 2 Eagles were able to get a comeback win over number 5 Maine.
That's such a tragic, sad story. They love their hockey here at BC.
It was cool seeing the hockey rink as well yesterday. My West Coast brain can't comprehend that. I'm not used to having, honestly, hockey just as part of the sports culture, but let alone college hockey. As a college student, you had a legitimate football program and a hockey program. That'd be rowdy.
And they got that. They were down 2-0 in that game to Maine, and scored 3 goals within a 7-minute time frame. Second down. Robichaux is just short, it appears, of a first down. Yep. 1.5 yards, brings up 3rd down for the Eagles.
And if I'm Bill O'Brien and Will Lawing, offensive coordinator for Boston College, this 3-3-5 structure for Syracuse, man, it's great when Syracuse is playing these passing attacks, but when you only have 3 down linemen and you have 5 defensive backs on the field, you should be able to run the ball all day long, especially if Boston College is going to line up with multiple tight ends. That's just a personnel mismatch that Boston College has to take advantage of.
Called a 3rd down and 2, and they will indeed run it. And it's enough for the first down. Robichaux into the open field, down the sideline, and we're waiting. Touchdown is a signal. Robichaux getting the carries along with McDonald early on today. And that is his 5th rushing touchdown of this season, and BC jumps in front. 34 yards.
This is the identity of what Boston College wants to be offensively. That's just a simple off tackle right, running behind the tight end, you get the edge, and that's 2 big plays in the run game the Eagles have created.
Liam Connor for the point after, and it is good.
This is as easy as it gets. A little inside handoff, and then he leaks out behind his right tackle and tight end. Boston College quickly gets up on the secondary and linebackers, and he barely gets touched until he's into the end zone. We've seen one big run play from Jordan McDonald, and now Kye Robichaux getting one as well.
This Boston College team offensively runs for just short of 160 yards per game, and they divvy it up. You know, we've not seen Ward yet. Robichaux took over as a starter a season ago. He was originally 4th on the depth chart. They've seen a lot of good things from Turbo Richard. Don't expect to see him today. And you mentioned a moment ago, McDonald with a big run.
And just with any offense, getting the run game going is important, but when you have a quarterback like Castellanos, so hey, you want to get him in rhythm passing game wise, but the second the defense shrinks in and focuses on your running backs, that's where Castellanos' legs pulling the ball can be even more of a threat.
The ball was falling off the tee as the kicker approached it. We will re-kick.
They've had enough problems on special teams. Coach doesn't want to see any more.
Yeah, showing the special teams coordinator there. He's having discussions with Bill O'Brien. It's a legitimate factor in this game. If the struggles continue, it might impact how Bill O'Brien makes decisions on 3rd and 4th down and in the red zone.
I mean, to think that they had only attempted before today 1 field goal the entire year. That's almost impossible to believe. Through the back of the end zone. Like to remind you, coming up later tonight, a champion will be crowned in the desert. Go out to Phoenix AZ and see which of the 4 remaining drivers bring home the title. NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship Racing. Tonight at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, only on the CW. It's only fitting that a Custer would be in the lead, right?
Oh, yeah.
You got 2 California guys there.
That's what I'm talking about. See, we got range in sports. I was talking down on hockey a little bit, but we got range.
McCord is dropped. Quintavious Hutchins with a sack.
Hutchins had the fumble recovery earlier. This is just a one-on-one beat on the left tackle, Witherspoon. Hutchins playing really well for this BC defense. A high motor guy. It's a good job. That first move didn't work. He's kept at it, kept bending that edge. Able to get Kyle McCord down. Syracuse offense, it started slow last week versus Virginia Tech. Starting slow again today.
Hutchins went the first 26 games of his career without a start, and now he's starting for the 3rd straight game, and he's earned it. Wide open was Pena across the middle, and that was airmail by Kyle McCord.
You said it, just a simple overthrow. Clean pocket, just gets away from him. I think in his mind he's trying to say, hey, I'm throwing it over the linebacker's head, not letting the linebacker get in play there. But wait until that second window goes through and then rip it on Pena, he's their leading receiver. Pena leads the ACC in receptions. He'll get his touches today. That's a missed one right there.
Well, it has been a sluggish start yet again for this Syracuse passing game today. 2 weeks ago, 5 interceptions, 3 returned for touchdowns. They were blown out of the gym by Pitt. And then last week they got it together when they needed to the most, down by 18. Beautiful throw and catch there. As if on cue. It's Gill with the reception.
We said it early in the game. Syracuse has been struggling to win in one-on-one vertically on the outside lane. Inside, Darrell Gill Jr., who hasn't necessarily played a ton this year. Only 15 catches coming into this game. Fran Brown has challenged this receiver room and willing to play multiple guys.
38-yard gain. First down give is to Allen, and he's wrapped up by Crouch. Also Clemens there on the tackle. Second down. Fran Brown, native of Camden, New Jersey, was a high school quarterback. Played defensive back at Western Carolina, was an all-Southern Conference player, spent a couple of years on the Cincinnati Bengals practice squad. He's coached under Matt Rule, couple of stops, including Baylor under Greg Schiano at Rutgers in the last 2 years under Kirby Smart at Georgia. Contact as soon as the ball arrived. Once more looking to Gill.
Phenomenal coverage on the outside by McShane. It's with him the whole way. Maybe gets a little bit tugged there. He's right in his hip pocket. Again, you get beat once on the outside, that's okay. That's fair. That wasn't McShane earlier who got beat, but stick with him. Stick right in his hip pocket, make it tough, and force the Syracuse offense to earn those vertical shots down the field. Nothing easy.
A 3rd and 9 is a walk in the park compared to what they were staring down the barrel at a moment ago. Ball across midfield. BC in front, 7-0. Blitz coming, and McCord is dropped all the way back inside his own 45-yard line. Cedarius McConnell, the first one there.
It's going to be Donovan Ezaraku, looks like off that edge. He's lined up in that wide technique outside that defensive end. He's able to pin his ears back. He's been doing that all season long. Second in the ACC in tackles for loss, second in sacks as well. Add another one to the list.
Yeah, that was Ezaraku who got there first. Had some help from McConnell, and that ball checks up. Good play at the 12-yard line.
This weekend, in order to celebrate Veterans Day weekend, Tom, we wanted to shed light on the 70-foot-long, 2-foot-high serpentine granite wall that's etched with the names of now 210 BC alumni who died in the line of duty in U.S. military conflicts since the start of the First World War. It was dedicated back in November of 2009 here at Boston College.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Trevor. Military well represented here. Veterans Day Monday, one of our great sponsors, Applebee's. Veterans or current military servicemen and women eat for free on Monday.
There we go.
That's a big deal. That'll be the final play of the opening quarter.
Exactly how beat
College. A 2nd down and 9 as we open the second quarter. And Castellanos fakes the pitch. And a wobbler. He had a wide open receiver in Lewis Bond. I mean, that was nowhere near Bond.
Little vertical concept, putting 2 vertical routes up on one safety. Go the opposite direction of where the safety goes, and that ball just floated in the air, hung his receiver out to dry a little bit. Little rib shot there. Tom, we saw that last week. Virginia Tech, Syracuse, Lewis Bond getting up slowly there a little bit.
That's Devin Grant, the transfer from Buffalo. He's an All-Mid-American Conference first-team performer a season ago.
What a week he had last week, too. Team's leading tackler, really coming along for the Orange.
They've got some dynamic defenders on this team. The overall defensive numbers are not necessarily all that great. This one blown dead before it ever got started. But one area they're very good is stopping third down.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's delay of game after an incompleted pass.
This is where if you're Bill O'Brien, you got to find a way to settle your quarterback down. If you're Thomas Castellanos, who's yet to settle in on this game, you miss that throw, and then you compound the mistake by having a delay of game. Get back to that run game, take some of the pressure off of him, but I'd also, in the back of my mind, if I was Will Lawing, the offensive coordinator, what do I have on my call sheet that are easy completions? Even if it's not going to be a 10, 15-yard gain, easy completions just to try to get your quarterback in rhythm.
3rd down and 14. Castellanos is going to run it. He'll get a handful of yards back. But now punting from very close to the end zone will be Boston College. Sam Candiotti coming out to put a foot on it. And one of the best return men in all of college football. Where's number 2 for the Orange? In Trevor Pena.
Bill O'Brien talked about, hey, on 3rd downs, got to be wary of down and distance facing a quarterback like Thomas Castellanos, knowing when he might run. Keep your head on a swivel. It's a good stop there by Barron.
Well, this is going to be offsides against Syracuse, but we'll wait for the officials to give us the official word.
He was coming aggressively off the edge, too. I wonder if he was trying to block that thing.
Offside. Defense, number 25. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Came from the rusher on the very bottom of the screen. To me, it looked like a guy getting antsy at his shot at maybe trying to block a punt, which you often see teams do when the punting team is backed up in their own end zone.
They brought in a different punter now. The field goal kicker, Connor, is taking over. Pena calls for the fair catch. Very good field position for the Orange, trailing 7-0. You're watching CW Football Saturday, presented by Verizon. You're watching CW Football Saturday, presented by Verizon. You're watching CW Football Saturday, presented by Verizon. Celebrate Veterans Day on Monday. Big crowd here today. They were expecting in excess of 41,000. Seating capacity is just under 44. First down, they give it to Allen. And he is immediately wrapped up. Neto Akpala, the first one there to grab him.
It's been slow starting for Syracuse as of late. Virginia Tech game, the Pitt game as well. You almost get the feeling that they have the belief that their passing attack with just one throw can change the script. That's what happened last week. It was slow all the way through the first quarter, and then Justice Ross Simmons took a 5-yard hitch to the house, and it awakened the entire team. The rest of the game, from a momentum perspective, is way different.
Allen out of the backfield. He's closing in on 50 receptions for the year. The only running back in the country with more, only 2 running backs in the country with more receptions than Allen. Dean Connors of Rice and Minnesota's Darius Taylor.
He looks like he's shaken up there too, which is a big deal. We saw it a drive ago that, Syracuse doesn't really use a backup running back. They use Dan Valeri, their tight end, in more of a wildcat role. So if Allen's banged up, as we're seeing the stats there, awfully productive both in the ground game and receiving wise. But if Allen's out, that totally changes what they can do offensively.
Snap bobbled, McCord spins out of the tackle, spins away again. And this is going to be about a half a yard short of a first down. Well, we'll see where they spotted. They needed to get to the 45.
What a play by Kyle McCord. Drops the snap, then utilizes a few B buttons in the video game. Little spin move there, and then one more right there. You said it. His athleticism, something I didn't know he had in his bag going into this season. Fran Brown told us last week that he wants him to play a little bit more backyard football in terms of that. Now, don't be a statue back there. Obviously, you want to be disciplined, but utilize your athleticism.
They go for it on 4th down, and McCord hit as he threw. And it is incomplete. Opala was in the neighborhood, so Syracuse turns the ball over on downs.
4th and short, Syracuse elects to throw the ball. He gets hit from his backside. You can see him trying to work through his progressions, trying to find an open window. That's a 4th down team stop by Boston College. The pressure by the defensive line and then great coverage on the back end.
Well, the offense has been up and down with Boston College. We talked about that already, but man, the Eagles defense has been mighty good, giving up only 22 points per game. That's 3rd best in the ACC, and a 1st down run is McDonald, his 2nd big carry of the game. And he's inside the 40, a 1st down.
McDonald's a guy that came into this game with only 54 yards rushing. He's surpassed that with just a couple carries today, running physical. Big back, 6'1", 230.
Officials timeout. Defensive player.
Yeah, in fact, McDonald was a roommate at UCF with Thomas Castellanos. They were roommates their freshman year. Castellanos came 2 years ago. This year, it's McDonald. We'll take a timeout. Georgia Tech was ranked and moving up before Haynes King was injured.
Good to see him back.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they're an entirely different team with him at quarterback. Little delay, and this is McDonald again, and he's inside the 35, down to the 31-yard line, short of a first down. They'll spot it at the 32.
You see the ace ump cam here. It's a little roll out right and then run the draw play right underneath, back behind the centers and the guards. Jordan McDonald running physical today.
Boy, 5 carries, 70 yards for McDonald. He's back there and going to get it once more and once more. Breaks a couple of tackles, runs through yet another. And he's inside the 15, down to the 14-yard line.
You're going to pull both guards, the left and the right guard, working to the left side. It's a great job offensive line-wise, getting a hat for a hat in the run game. Just ride McDonald into the end zone, it looks like, for BC.
That's 88 yards rushing for McDonald after that 18-yard pickup. Gets a couple of more here inside the 10.
This does feel like an important drive for Boston College, too. You've totally controlled the tempo of this game and have all the momentum, but only have 7 points to show for it. We talked about the missed field goal, missed opportunity in the punt game as well.
7 carries, now 91 yards for McDonald, and he's in the backfield behind Castellanos. Not a single completed pass for the Eagles, and yet trying to extend the 7-point lead. That's a good defensive play right there by among the very best in the country, and Marlowe Wax. That guy's a stud. Trevor?
So much of this run game and the success of it is based on the gap schemes that Boston College is running. Typically, when you see a mix of fronts, like a defense like Syracuse's, you zone it up and just try to run into somebody. They've taken an aggressive approach with these gap schemes, finding that hat for a hat approach, as you mentioned, Max, to sort of get this thing rolling.
Gap schemes meaning of pulling guards coming around. He's assigned for a specific defender versus zone schemes. The offensive line moves in a single wave.
That's the first completed pass, and it's a touchdown pass for Castellanos. He connects with Lewis Bond. And for Bond, his 3rd receiving touchdown, 18th thrown by Castellanos.
Said find Castellanos an easy completion to get him in rhythm. It's a good way to start, getting the touchdown with the first completion and finding his trusty receiver, Lewis Bond, who's been his favorite receiving target so far this season.
9-yard touchdown pass, and now the point after is good. And how about the Eagles? Lugers of 3 in a row. 2 wins away from becoming bowl eligible. A 14-point lead. CW Football Saturday is presented by Verizon. You're watching CW Football. You're watching CW Football Saturday, brought to you by Pacific Life, creating financial security for over 150 years. (14-0). Boston College in front. Emmanuel Ross waiting back at the goal line, and he will bring it from the tee. Great special teams coverage right there by BC. That's Omar Thornton.
Here's a look at today's unexpected performance, brought to you by J-Lab. Unexpected performance on the ground game. Unexpected jersey number 2. Started at 25, now 24. Jordan McDonald, though, I love the patience. He's a big back. You can see that right away. But he's been quickly getting up onto the second and third level. Credit the blocking schemes, offensive line-wise and tight end for BC. They've been getting after it as an entire unit.
Every school puts out what's called a flip card, where you get the roster numerically, alphabetically, 2 deep, starter, backup, before every game. And on the one printed before the game today, McDonald was still number 25.
It's got to be a special teams thing. If you're switching numbers, got to be another 25 that they must share special team usage on.
So things going bad to worse for Syracuse. A holding penalty on that kickoff return, and now McCord airs it out. Beautiful back shoulder throw, and the reception by their outstanding tight end, Gadsden.
I was just going to say, Gadsden only had 2 catches last week, no catches this so far today in this game right away. You can see the identity of this Syracuse offense. Need a big play. Let's line up an empty to start the drive and go to one of our favorite targets.
McCord hit it, he threw, and it was nearly intercepted as it floated high above the head of the intended target, Allen, out of the backfield. Boy, McCord's taken a beating here today.
Good to see Allen back there for Syracuse as well, but we're seeing the impact of Donovan Ezeraku off the edge for Boston College. We talked with Bill O'Brien yesterday. He said teams are really starting to chip Ezeraku on the edge, knowing how much of a game changer he can be. That's 2 impact pressures so far today. And that's a fine line with Syracuse, right? They want Allen out of the backfield and into the pass game. But if he has to chip in protection and hang in to keep the progression alive, he might need to do that.
Good protection this time, and the catch is made for a first down. Still on his feet is Meeks. And he's tackled at the 45-yard line.
Back to that protection, too. I thought Fran Brown's comments this week were interesting. Syracuse is a team that'll play 8 or 9 offensive linemen. And Fran Brown was honest. He said, if we have good players and they feel like they can play at the ACC level, we need to play those guys or we might lose them to the portal next year, which is a different mentality than I think you're used to hearing.
This is a rarity. Those are the only teams in all of the FBS to start the same offensive line in every game, and we have 2 of them today.
There is no foul for an illegal formation. First down, Syracuse.
Should be noted, there's some pretty good teams on that list, including Indiana. My, oh my, what a year they're having. You could make an argument that Indiana is the best team in the Big Ten.
And I think the CFP did them a favor with this initial rankings, is that chip on your shoulder can still exist. A lot of people think that they're not rated high enough, given their resume, given their record. If they were a bigger brand, would they be higher in the polls?
Boy, they got some kind of coach. We were talking about him yesterday with Bill O'Brien. Kurt Signetti, what a job he's done leading James Madison. And that's Allen. He'll be a yard short of a first down. Gets to the 35, needed to get to the 34. And Indiana, one of the 5 teams left. The remaining unbeatens. Miami, of course, trailing today against Georgia Tech. That's still in the first half. Oregon with a big win, of course, at home by a point over Ohio State earlier this year. And if you're Army, I mean, you got to be saying to yourself, wait a minute, we've won every game we played, and we're not in the top 12.
And luckily for Army, they got Notre Dame left on their schedule. Not only for Army, not only for Notre Dame, that game could be critical for the ripple effect for that. How does that impact Boise State and their Group of 5 pursuit? How does that impact maybe a second ACC or a second Big 12 team from getting in?
Clemson was right in line to be one of those college football playoff teams. Here's a first down, and McCord throwing towards the corner, and it's incomplete. That is great coverage again. Oh, boy, they throw the flag on Tucker.
I'm with you, Tom. It looked like he was squeezing the receiver in textbook fashion. There's some contact
Pass
there.
interference. Defense, number 13.
That doesn't
15-yard
seem like a
penalty.
lot at all.
First down.
I mean, actually, like you said, both guys were doing it. It looked like Meeks was actually holding on to Tucker.
Yeah, Meeks is holding that left shoulder pad for Tucker. The referee that called the penalty obviously can't see that. There's not a lot there. To me, that's good coverage on the outside. That's Syracuse getting a break.
So many young players in this secondary for BC, yet one of the best pass defenses in the country. That was a key matchup here today. It's very good pass defense, and it's a very good passing team. And that is a touchdown. Gadsden, the tight end, on a back shoulder throw by Kyle McCord. And the Orange finally on the board.
They started the drive feeding Gadsden. They're going to finish the drive feeding Gadsden. We said it. No catches earlier on in this ball game. Uses a back shoulder, double move. He's a tight end in the roster, but man, he runs like a receiver on the outside. What a weapon he is for the Orange.
First team All-ACC performer 2 years ago. He's Syracuse's all-time leader in receptions and receiving yards at the tight end position. And boy, did Syracuse need that. Let's send it back to Mike Yam. Eric Coleman, player.
There we go. Love the story that Fran Brown told us about Oronde Gadsden, who was really productive the past couple of years. So we're seeing another look at the touchdown. It's a back shoulder. This is trusting your guy to make a play. Love how he used the left arm to create space and then the right arm hooking back around. That's a difficult catch. Right there, it's one thing to make a one-handed catch with your left hand away from the receiver. To work with your right hand around the corner or through the corner, it's impressive.
Of course, his dad was a good one. Mighty good one.
Story I was going to get to is that when Fran Brown took the job, he said, Oronde did, if you give me a quarterback, I'll stay. You don't give me a quarterback, I'm hopping in the portal and I'm leaving. They found themselves a QB.
Well, after Superman and Lex Luthor's first climactic fight, the people of Smallville are noticing striking similarities between Superman and reporter Clark Kent. Oh my. New episode of Superman and Lois, Monday, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on the CW.
You a superhero guy, Tom?
Well, when I was a kid, I loved all of them. You know what I mean? It's a different world now, though. You're a big superhero guy, aren't you?
I mean, I was the youngest of 4 boys, so the whole comics and all that, there wasn't much of that. It was watching Sports Center instead of cartoons.
Yeah, I hear you. Castellanos on a quarterback keeper loses a yard. So now all of a sudden, you know, the first 5 drives, Syracuse had a total of 60 yards. That last drive, 6 plays spanning 88 yards. A couple of big passing plays. One to Meeks, the touchdown to Gadsden, and a 7-point game in favor of Boston College under 6 minutes to go in the second quarter.
And I totally understand wanting Castellanos' legs to be a factor, but do it where your zone reading, so the defense has to account for the running back as well, rather than design quarterback runs.
It's John Montague, former high school quarterback out of Zebulon, North Carolina. He's a freshman, big guy. They got some big receivers on this team. He goes 6'2", 218.
In an elevated role this week. It's a receiver room that Boston College has challenged that room to come up with more plays. So might see some new faces there. And 3rd and 6. This is a money down. This is a quarterback down. This is where Thomas Castellanos has to win. They're going to line up an empty formation as they motion the running back in the backfield and have his legs be a factor.
4-man rush, pump fake, still looking around, rolling, lofts it, and in between 2 Boston College receivers, and neither one of them got it, Franklin or Reed Harris. That should have been a completed ball.
The message yesterday with Castellanos is don't hang on to reads. Right there, I thought he had some creases in the middle, but to potentially break through and try to only get 5 or 6 yards. Credit the coverage from Syracuse. He tries to loft one over. It's a great idea by Castellanos. Just not able to connect with his man, Reed Harris. Strong coverage and great job defensive line-wise for Syracuse. Staying in your rush lanes, not allowing Castellanos to think that he can break up the pocket up the middle to pick up that first down.
4 different punters used this season. And Connor with his 2nd punt of this game, only his 3rd of the year. Got a favorable bounce. 4:55 to go until halftime. Looking for a cable news network that respects all Americans? And you have your new home with News Nation, America's fastest growing cable news network. You can find News Nation. Let's go to joinnn.com. News Nation was the first news network to call Donald Trump winning the election on Tuesday. The first among all of them. Here's McCord. He's already had a big run, and this one is another. And McCord, he had that run taken away, of course, on a penalty. But this one all the way down to the 35-yard line. Big man, but he can run it.
It's a little gadget play. They're not going to line up McCord at quarterback. They line him up in the running back position. They hand it off to him. They fake the reverse. And just matchup-wise, no one's accounting for Kyle McCord in the run game. Maybe a little late hit there as well, but Kyle McCord's legs showing out today.
29-yard carry by McCord. He had a 42-yarder wiped out on a penalty.
It's the type of play call, too, if you're Syracuse, where you're feeling like you're getting momentum back on your side. They could have got more momentum here. Let's see if it was a late hit at all. Once he gives himself up, that could have been called. Once he gives himself up as a runner, decides to slide, you come at the head area.
It was Carter Davis, a redshirt freshman. McCord fires to the far side, and that'll be a first down reception made by Meeks. So the Orange waking up offensively. Went 88 yards, capped off by a touchdown their last drive after being shut out in the opening quarter. Actually, they marked him a yard short of a first down, so McCord will just take it himself, and now it is a first down.
See the ace ump cam here. Both those A gaps, meaning it's the gap where the guard and the center touch, were wide open. That's an easy conversion for a quarterback sneak.
The officials were not in position to officiate. We will reset the ball and replay 3rd down.
Not in position to officiate is different than snapping the ball prematurely. Wouldn't be surprised if Fran Brown's frustrated, because that's what you want. You want to catch the defense off guard with that quarterback sneak right behind the center, trying to catch them when they're not expecting it.
Look at his formation. We'll see if it's enough for the first down. That was, we talked about earlier, Villari. They'll use him in that formation to carry the ball, and he does get the first down.
It's good awareness for a tight end. Usually a quarterback has the awareness to slip through the B gap, use the leverage of your offensive guard, and work towards the outside. Tom Brady made that move famous as we're in the Boston area in the quarterback sneak game. Credit Villari for having the awareness to do exactly that and work towards his left.
McCord throws again, and another back shoulder, perfect throw to Meeks. And that was great coverage by Tucker, but just a better throw.
A confident throw, too. The corner's ahead of your receiver, painted on the back shoulder. Corner doesn't have any eyes to get around and acknowledge where the ball is. Meeks is a bigger receiver. The Georgia transfer came with Fran Brown from Georgia. Didn't play much for the Bulldogs. It's been a key factor for this offense. Already over 500 yards receiving on the year.
He has 3 catches today. He has 42 catches in his last 5 games and a quarter and a half. Tight end under center in the shotgun once more. He'll hand it off, and that'll be a touchdown. LeQuint Allen with his 8th rushing touchdown of the season and a point after away from this being a tie game.
Jeff Nixon, the offensive coordinator for Syracuse, is in his bag. That drive, we saw a lot of creativity. We saw different playmakers getting the ball, all capped off by their most dynamic playmaker, LeQuint Allen, getting in for 6.
So McCord really getting warmed up now. Last week was the first game this season in his Syracuse career, his first season, where McCord failed to reach 300 yards passing. The point after is good. Some pushing and shoving going on afterwards.
And that's got to be so frustrating if you're Boston College. You have had all the momentum and dictated tempo in this game, and just like that, with 2 quick offensive drives for Syracuse, it's a tie ball game. You've lost the momentum, and now you got to go back to your offense that, hey, Thomas Castellanos really hasn't settled in on this game. They got to go back to McDonald. That's what's worked for them. Feels like they're trying to unlock other aspects of their offense, but McDonald's been rolling. Your offensive line's been playing well. Got to go back to that.
Boy, Fran Brown, he can get excited now.
It's fun talking to him. He doesn't have your normal head coach speak.
No.
Doesn't have the verbiage. He has no problem challenging guys, getting in their face, but it's coming from love, too. He'll love up on guys as well. It was funny in our meetings with him on Wednesday. We're mid-meeting, and he got reminded of something and sent a group text out to his entire team, like on the spot, while he was talking to us. And I was like, hey, you want to pride yourself in communicating with your players? Do it on the spot. I respect it.
And, I mean, if you talked about calling guys out. I mean, he does it publicly. You know, he puts up pictures in the locker room of himself as well, and his assistant coaches and his players.
Yep, he'll go a little PowerPoint Monday after games and call people out. But I think he has a good gauge of, if you're going to call people out, you gotta show love on the other side and communicate with players. He meets with every player once a month during the season. That is very unique for a head coach, because he knows if he's going to call guys out, he's got to have that relationship with them.
This will take us to the 2-minute timeout. Robichaux on the carry. 2nd down when we return. 14 apiece. You're watching CW Football Saturday, presented by Verizon.
Let's take a look at today's game summary presented by Pacific Life, creating financial security for over 150 years. Boston College got off to a hot start. 14-0 lead on the back of their running backs, Kyle Robichaux, Jordan McDonald as well, but then Syracuse has responded as of late. What a catch by Arondé Gadsden, one-handed, using that right hand, holding off a defender, and we find ourselves all tied up.
Syracuse trying to get to a 7th win this season, coming in at 6-2, and that's a big run again by McDonald, who's off over 100 yards rushing in the game today. And he has been 4th on the depth chart this entire season, behind Ward, who we've seen very little of. In fact, Ward has not carried the ball in the game. Robichaux, and out injured is Turbo Richard.
Syracuse has had no answer for it. I'd stick with it. It's a great job getting that edge. Again, they've really worn the tight end tackle spot for Boston College. Getting that edge on the Syracuse defensive end has been a strength today.
Batted ball off the receiver's hands and intercepted by Jaden Bellamy. And it was a bad throw by Castellanos. The receiver was wide open.
Castellanos takes his eyes to the left, works back to the right, which you like. It looked like his arm got low in the slot, trying to throw it from, rather than over the top, more on the side. Throws it behind Reed Harris on a dig route. He's trying to throttle his receiver down and protect him. But Syracuse coming up with a huge interception. Jaden Bellamy, the reserve corner behind usually Clarence Lewis, is that backup. No Marcellus Barnes Jr. today for Syracuse. Their starting corner usually. Bellamy stepping up.
All right, so now a chance to take their first lead of the game. Pena, who's had a very quiet day with a reception. Max mentioned earlier, Pena leads the Atlantic Coast Conference in receptions this year. 55 of them. First down at the Boston College 41. And that one short hops the intended target. 2nd down and 10.
Man, you can just feel it too. Syracuse doesn't blink. They're getting the ball and they're going. It's not we're going to warm up. It's not, hey, we're going to have a 10, 12 play drive. They're going to lean on Kyle McCord, try to get Meeks involved. All these different weapons Fran Brown has.
Well, you have 3 timeouts left, just under a minute. 57 seconds remain.
Yeah, if you're Boston College and Bill O'Brien, you were thinking that last drive could have been the last drive of this first half. Try to go into halftime with momentum. Instead, you get Syracuse an extra possession.
BC will get the football to start the second half. McCord scrambling, backpedaling, and wisely just throws it away. Under heavy pressure there. Hutchins, Crouch, and I beg your pardon, that was Ezaraku.
This is great arm strength too, because this ball has to get in front of the line of scrimmage. You can see the marker off there on the distance. If that goes in front of that yard marker, that would have been intentional grounding, even with him being outside the pocket. So credit the athleticism and the arm strength for Kyle McCord getting the ball to his hands.
It's a very important down here defensively for BC. Try and stop the bleeding here.
Empty formation, no one to chip on Ezaraku. The rush on the top of your screen.
And it's a sack all the way back in midfield. I mean, they had a whole host of jerseys surrounding McCord there. That was just a 4-man rush, and 3 of them got there virtually at the same time.
Yeah, Ty Clements this time. We've mentioned Hutchins' name. We've mentioned Ezaraku. This time it's Ty Clemson. Look at that celebration. Anytime you're a defensive tackle getting a sack on 3rd down, got to be excited. And keep an eye on that as we get into the second half. Syracuse loves going empty formation, but they're struggling against this pass rush. A lot of offensive coordinators use a running back to help in protection. You obviously can't do that in empty formation, which is the identity of this Syracuse offense.
Clock all the way down to 2. BC elects not to take a timeout.
The half is not over. Syracuse has called a timeout.
Well, the play clock was going to run out, but, I mean, you back them up 5 yards, they punt it anyway, right?
the game clock to 1 second. Timeout, Syracuse. Their first and a half, 30 seconds. 1 second, please.
Fran Brown taking that timeout.
First-year head man. Boy, Fran Brown had a lot of things to talk about. And, you know, we talked about some of the guys he's worked under. Matt Rule, excellent coach. Talked about Greg Schiano, excellent coach. And then Kirby Smart.
Now, I was sitting here thinking, why is he calling a timeout to give an opportunity for Boston College to return it? But here we go. They're going to give a Hail Mary shot. See if they can steal one here. Would look Gadsden's way with his 6'5", 240 frame.
McCord trying to plant that right foot in the ground and throws it up. And it's batted away. And indeed it was Gadsden down there at the Fox line. Got that right. All right, so here we go. BC will get the football to start the second half. A very, very, very quiet first half for Castellanos, to say the least. 2 for 7 for a grand total of 14 yards. He had a touchdown pass, and then he had the misfire off the. You couldn't blame the receiver for that. It was thrown back behind him, barely got his fingertips on the ball, and it was eventually intercepted.
It's a couple misfires. There was an overthrow, and then the one you're talking about where he's trying to throttle his receiver down, and it feels like the way this game's going, his performance could be the X factor in this game, whether or not he's able to come up with a few big throws.
Well, their main man has been that guy right there, Jordan McDonald. 4th on the depth chart 2 weeks ago. And he is carried for better than 100 yards in the first half.
Containing that edge is so key for Syracuse in the second half. When Boston College did have success on the run game, it was behind the tackles and the tight ends on the edge. Justin Barron, the converted safety, coming up with a good play there.
Loss of a yard, 2nd down and 11. McDonald in the backfield, and they're going to give it to him again. And again, defended well by Syracuse. Brings up 3rd down and long, and that is not the way this BC team is built.
It's an excellent play by Jaden Bellamy right there. We've called his name a couple times today, the reserve corner. Sometimes in these run schemes, they're not designed to block the corner, and the running back, it's his responsibility to make the corner miss. Bellamy triggered right away, was able to get in the backfield there to hold him into 3rd and long, which we've talked about 3rd and long. Last time Boston College was in this scenario, they went draw play using Castellanos' legs. Have to be wary of putting the ball in jeopardy 3rd and long.
Protection breaks down and eventually sacked behind the line of scrimmage. It's Justin Barron in on the sack. And that'll be his 2nd sack of the season.
Barron's been flashing on film today. The linebacker spot this time, rushing the passer. That's just will right there. Looks like Castellanos is limping right there. But Barron, what a cool story. Marlo Wax, who's Syracuse's best defensive player, him and Fidel Diggs, the defensive end. Wax went down. He's only played in 3 games so far this season. Barron started this season at safety, but he's a willing tackler. They moved him inside the box. Hasn't left that linebacker spot since.
He's closing in on 300 career tackles. Fair catch by Pena. So the Orange with a chance to take the lead for the first time today on CW Football Saturday, brought to you by Verizon. Number 44 for the Orange, not too shabby. Late great Jim Brown. Of course, Ernie Davis, who, after winning the Heisman, first African-American ever to win the Heisman, he tragically passed away. Floyd Little, and of course Rob Conrad in the mid to late 1990s, and they had that jersey retirement ceremony, all those guys on hand.
Enough of these single-digit running backs. We got to bring back the 40s. These numbers are sweet for running backs.
The bubble screen to Pena, get it in his hands, and he is across the 45-yard line. But look, you can talk about all those guys you want. But take a look at this.
I've always said top Northeast running backs. You go Jim Brown, Ernie Davis, Trevor Scales, baby.
Hey, hold on. That is an echelon that your boy's not trying to insert himself in. I'm good where I'm at, to be clear.
Well, of course, Brown and Davis and those guys, I don't think were they able to play as freshmen?
Good point.
Back in those days, I wonder.
Good point.
I wonder. But nonetheless, that does not diminish anything. Our main man, Trevor Scales. I mean, needed a police escort to get him in for the airport
I will say,
yesterday.
I only had 10 games a season to do my work. Let me just throw that out there.
All right. Fair enough. I love it.
I want to see Trevor in that single bar face mask that Jim Brown was rocking.
Right. All right, third down. 14-14 game. McCord buying a little time, rolls right, and a perfect throw to Pena for a first down to the Boston College 48-yard line.
Kyle McCord's making difficult throws look easy today. That's on the run, putting it right where only his receiver can get it, and allowing him to pick up the first down. When you talk about Kyle McCord, too, looking to the next level, I mean, both these coaches, Bill O'Brien and Fran Brown, talk about him as if he's a NFL caliber quarterback, and McCord gets lost a little bit from a national perspective, quarterback-wise. You talk about Shadur Sanders, you talk about Cam Ward, Quinn Ewers, Carson Beck, but man, Kyle McCord can throw the rock, and it wouldn't surprise me if he creeps up into that top group come this NFL draft cycle. Maybe not first round, but in terms of a top day 2 pick, wouldn't surprise me at all.
And I tell you what, and I'm not going to shortchange a guy and say that he can't be a starting quarterback in the NFL, because I have no idea at the end of the day, and it wouldn't be fair to think that, right? You shoot for the top, and the bottom line is he has all the makings of a guy that could play in the league for a long time.
He processes information really fast, which is always a term you hear, but he's getting the ball out of his hands quickly. And I just love how much Syracuse puts on his shoulders. If Kyle McCord doesn't show out, they don't win.
Back shoulder throw, looking for Meeks, and that's another penalty flag. And I don't know if this one's not similar to the one we saw earlier. McShane, that looked like pretty good coverage. This might be against, well, let's see.
Yeah, man-to-man coverage on the outside.
Pass interference. Defense, number 35. 15-yard penalty. First down.
It's the advantage you get offensively when you throw that back shoulder football. If that receiver goes up and through the DB, and the DB does not make a play on the ball and gets into the chest, you're going to get that call. If you're a defender, I don't necessarily like it, but that's a clear call, and the advantage of really testing these corners on the outside with back shoulder footballs.
So an automatic first down after the 15-yard penalty, and Allen off the right side for a couple, maybe 3. No, we'll call it 2 to the 26-yard line.
Saw Allen get banged up in the first half, came back in wearing that knee sleeve on his left knee, but looks healthy.
Boy, he is such a good player, all-around player. Runner, receiver, McCord, slant, and that is Meeks for the first down inside, right at the 15-yard line.
It's a phenomenal route by Meeks. Fights pressure on pressure. When the corner gets physical with you, get physical right back with him. Allows you to create space. As we look at the ace ump cam, saw that play a couple times last week as well. You fake the run game inside, pull the ball. Linebackers crash up. It's great timing by Kyle McCord, throwing it right behind the linebacker's head into that vacated window.
Allen cuts it back to the inside the 5, down to the 4-yard line. And that's another first down, 1st and goal for the Orange.
Look at the move he makes in the hole. Gonna work this right side. You can see his eyes. He's looking at the linebackers, looking at the safeties, makes one man miss. Right there, Carter Davis, the safety spot, gets to that 3rd level. So much of the Syracuse run game is just keeping you honest. It's a pass-first offense, which you don't say a lot about offenses in college football, but if you can have at least the threat of the run game, the threat of Allen being a factor, it opens up the whole attack.
Mallory checks in the game in the backfield, and he will lead the way. Untouched into the end zone, it is Allen. And Syracuse leads for the first time today. 20 unanswered. It's a second rushing touchdown of the afternoon for LeQuint Allen. Out of Millville, New Jersey. This was a guy, he was running the ball all the time last year. He had 7 100-yard rushing games, which was tied for most in the ACC with Amarian Hampton of North Carolina. But this year, catching passes, and the last 2 weeks, he's starting to run and run more frequently. You're watching CW Football Saturday, presented by Verizon. 8 plays, 59 yards in a little better than 4 minutes. And the 4-yard touchdown run by Allen, giving Syracuse a lead for the first time today. Beautiful, sunny, cloudless sky in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. And it looks like the day might be over. That remains to be seen, but temporarily so, it appears, for quarterback Thomas Castellanos. He is standing on the sideline, was shaken up coming off their last possession. So Grayson James out of Duncanville, Texas, a transfer from Florida International, played in 11 games over 3 years there, had a really good 22 season, has made 1 start this year. That was against Western Kentucky. And they're going to hand it off on first down. And breaking it is Robichaux all the way to the 35-yard line, and that makes things pretty easy for Grayson James. There's a penalty flag down the field. It could be a late hit, which would tack on another 15 yards.
This is phenomenal balance by Kye Robichaux in the hole. It's good vision there initially. Then once he gets to the second level, almost went down there.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 5, 15-yard penalty, first down.
It's that extra shove at the end. He's out of bounds, out of bounds, out of bounds, and then the extra shove. Especially in a close quarters sideline where you're right up against the brick wall. Not going to get away with that, but talk about putting in a backup quarterback. Take pressure off of him right away with a huge run play for Boston College.
So after the penalty, ball now at the 19-yard line is Boston College, with now Grayson James at quarterback. He's thrown for a touchdown this year. He's run for a touchdown this year. And back-to-back carries for Robichaux. And he's down to the 15-yard line, maybe the 14-yard line.
Back to Castellanos. It was a quarterback we mentioned in the open that was tons to be excited for early on in the season, but it's really slowed up. This 3-game losing streak that Boston College has been on hasn't been poor offensively or horrible offensively, but you haven't had that explosiveness. And today, for Castellanos, only 2 for 7. We've seen the missed throws, saw the turnovers as well. Don't think I expected the change, but given the context of the past month, not entirely surprised, and don't blame Bill O'Brien for making the change at this point in the game.
Tight end Kamari Morales, who came over from North Carolina, leaves the field with an injury. Second down, Robichaux will go to the end zone, and just like that, a 41-yard run, and now a touchdown. And a point after away, which is no layup. From this one being tied up yet again. Robichaux got tired of watching McDonald get all the yards.
Yeah, make a quarterback change. Wouldn't have mattered who's behind center. Hand the rock off to number 5 and you'll have success.
Liam Cotter for the point after. And it is good. Syracuse had the lead for all of about 2 minutes.
What a response by BC. Momentum back on their side.
Coming up next, we're off to Corvallis. Tell you about that. San Jose State and Oregon State. That's coming up next, only on the CW. And then we have another game late night tonight after NASCAR.
Triple header.
Washington State will be at home tonight. 21 apiece with 7:45 to play here in the third quarter. And that's out to the 22-yard line. Let's go to Mike Cam in our studios.
I was not, Mike. I was not. I had 7 years to spare.
Boy,
Ever since that Georgia
hurts.
game, people
Good
are
Lord.
sleeping on Texas a little bit. They got a talented roster. They're going to be in the hunt to the end of it.
Well, if Ewers is healthy, I mean, he got him to the college football playoff last year. And on first down, McCord is sacked. Is this a live ball that was kicked by Ezaraku? I'm wondering if that ball was live. It is a safety.
The ruling on the field is a fumble that went through the end zone and over the end line, resulting in a safety.
Yep, how about that?
Ezaraku working the inside move this time. In the first half, working a lot of the outside moves, working the edge of the tackle. This time he mixed it up on him. Ezaraku was on the sideline during that timeout, too, getting into his defense. What a play there, but also that is a missed opportunity. That could have easily been a defensive touchdown for Boston College. Ball's out there. That's a live ball all the way. You lose it there.
Fumble through the end zone is under further review.
Syracuse got a break there. That's a 5-point swing right there.
Akpala was in there.
There's no question of his knee being down, no question of his elbow being down.
Stodmeyer was in there.
And again, Syracuse not chipping Donovan Ezaraku, one of the best pass rushers, not only in the ACC, but the entire country, working that inside move towards the right shoulder of the left tackle for Syracuse. Good punch out there, too.
Oh, they're still taking a look. Mike Mothershed, what do you think about this one, my friend? Okay, great to have Mike Mothershed with us, as we do each and every week. Michael, thank you so much, and this did not take very long.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Safety.
How about that?
Neto Akpala on the punch out there. I think his second effort certainly helped lodge that football.
Been a while. 2012. Now, you know, when we come here, Trevor ought to be down there with those guys.
I take my money on Trev.
Oh, you mark it down.
See, that's the thing. He already got his work in this morning.
Yeah, he did. That young lady right there was plowing through him, man. No problem.
These guys are a different breed. Respect.
Of course, Veterans Day is this coming Monday. And it's certainly worth repeating for those of you that maybe have active military in your family home or veterans home. Applebee's, one of our great sponsors, veterans and active service members will eat for free on Monday at all Applebee's locations. So now BC will get the ball right back. This is Cameron Martinez, the Ohio State transfer, and he is wrapped up at the 33-yard line. Every match, every move, every moment. WWE NXT delivers excitement. And that's every Tuesday night. That's 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central, only on the CW. Georgia Tech has gone up 21-10 on Miami. Having Haynes King back has made a huge difference for the Ramblin' Wreck.
I feel like we say that every week with Miami. I feel like I'm having deja vu.
You're right.
Them coming back, letting teams hang around.
Of course, they were tied, in the middle of the third quarter last week, and then just blew the doors off Duke, scoring 21 points over the final quarter.
Interesting to see if it comes into contention if Miami were to lose and tries to get an at-large bid slot with their resume, with having so many close losses or so many close wins. A win's a win, I get that, but so many close wins. If you're stacking that up against another one-loss team or a 2 or 3 loss Big Ten or SEC team, how does the committee view those wins? Yes, they're wins, but they were ugly many weeks for Miami.
Fake the jet sweep, first throw since coming into the game, and it is a good one. As James over the middle connects with Bond, and that'll be a first down for the Eagles.
This is a nice job as we see the ace ump cam by Isaiah Bond sitting in this window. Can see right in between both linebackers. Great timing by Grayson James for the first completion of the game. Those are some of those throws that we were missing out earlier on. Castellanos maybe either throwing behind him. Good job of the backup quarterback getting in rhythm.
Upended after a pickup of close to 4 is Robichaux.
It's the 3rd or 4th time we've seen that action today where you're having a sprint out by your quarterback and then handing the ball off underneath. I'd look for them to dial up something in the air with that action. Feels like those handoffs with that action haven't broke through as much.
A couple of guys have hit triple figures today. One of the best rushing teams in the Atlantic Coast Conference and in the country for that matter. And the handoff once more, Robichaux. He's chopped down a yard short of a first down. It'll bring up 3rd and 1.
They have a third guy they can get to too as well if they like. Trayshawn Ward. It's a loaded backfield. We got a big hit here on the ace ump cam. That's textbook right there. Keep your eyes up. Low man wins. So he puts his helmet down a little bit there at the end, but he knows if he gets leverage underneath Robichaux at 220 pounds, that's the only way to get a guy like that down.
It's Devin Grant. So McDonald checks in. It's 3rd down and 2, and I don't know. Depends on where they're going to spot it. That is an outstanding play made by Murad Watson.
You said it, the true freshman. What a key piece he's been for this defensive line. We talked about it in the first half. It's a defensive line, interior-wise, defensive tackle-wise, has dealt with some injuries. Being able to have a true freshman step up and be an impact player in the middle. He doesn't look like a true freshman, 315 pounds with the quickness to make a play there.
All right, so it's 4th down, I beg your pardon, in less than a yard. Bill O'Brien going to go for it, and it will be a first down. Robichaux thrown down at the 42-yard line. They'll move the sticks as we're closing in on 4 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter.
That's been the blueprint. Lean on these running backs, lean on this offensive line. It's a good push by the right side, then allowing Logan Taylor, the left guard, to pull back around, create some room. Didn't need much.
James on in relief of Castellanos. Castellanos limped off the field 2 series ago. They were taking a look at him on the sideline. He had his helmet off, but then when the offense came out, the last offensive set, he had his helmet on. So we don't know if he'll be held out of the rest of this game. Is he still available? James has completed his only attempt. That was a moment ago. Robichaux once more, and not much running room. It'll bring up 3rd down.
I'm Elijah Robinson, Syracuse defensive coordinator. That play right there, he only has 6 defenders in the box. I would pack the box and force this backup quarterback in Grayson James to beat you with his arm. It's a receiver room for Boston College that struggled at times this year. They're still looking for explosiveness. I would bring a 7th guy in the box, have him there permanently, try to slow down Kye Robichaux, and Jordan McDonald. Force the Eagles to beat you through the air.
All right, we'll call it 3rd down and 6. 8 passing plays, 36 rushing plays in this game for BC, but it's James at quarterback. And that's a first down. The catch is made by Bond, and then he slips in between a couple of would-be tacklers and is able to move the sticks once more. James hurrying him up. You have to allow the defense to make a substitution if you make one, but they did not. And here once more is Bond, and he's to the 22-yard line.
That's great coaching by Bill O'Brien. My sense is they knew that Syracuse was going to sub after a first down, knowing that Boston College is usually a huddle team, so you can get in a rhythm. And from a Fran Brown perspective with Syracuse, it's always an opportunity to get new legs in. Boston College catches them off guard, uses tempo when they're not a tempo team, and give yourself a free play on first down for 6 yards.
We are down to 1:25 to play in the 3rd. 2nd down and 4. And this is McDonald. And he's inside the 15, down to the 12-yard line. Closing in on 40 rushing plays in this game by BC.
This is getting it done. They're pulling around Logan Taylor right there. Left guard going to the right side. That's as easy as it gets. And again, you're seeing the schematic differences. Syracuse used to only playing with 3 down linemen, multiple DBs. Boston College says, sweet, we can do that. We're going to bring extra tight ends on the field and run right at you.
We're going to run it again, and on its way to the end zone. What a day for Jordan McDonald, the transfer from UCF. Not many people outside of his parents knew he was on this team this year. Well, the whole conference knows about it now, and the whole city of Boston knows about it.
Dude looks the part, playing the part too.
He does look the part.
Hasn't been hesitating at all. The jump cuts, the bursts, been on display all day today.
Point after is good, so you got the safety to go up by 2. And now you go ahead and score a touchdown. I thought he might consider going for 2 there.
We're going here, and then we got Jordan McDonald right off his butt. Ball goes to the right, then leaks right back around to the left. It's great wash left-hand side by Jude Bowery, the left tackle as well. It's been a game of momentum, but one thing that's been constant is the Boston College offensive line, who Bill O'Brien challenged them this week going into this game. It's an opportunity for them to really control this game. And the passing attack hasn't been there for Boston College, but run game-wise, offensive line-wise, they've done a great job. You can see it right there. I mean, no secret about it. Only 10 pass plays. Today you only have 5 completions, 38 rushes. It's the identity of what this offense wants to be, and just in a ball game like this, the polar opposite of Syracuse, that's a pass-first attack.
McDonald 128 rushing yards on 14 carries. Let's go to Mike in our studio. There's no doubt about it. And Mike, thank you very much. You know, we talked about, we saw Georgia Tech earlier this year beat North Carolina. And that's when King got hurt in that game. He did not play the next couple of weeks. And Georgia Tech's been kicked around a little bit. But when he's on the field, they are a rock-solid team, Georgia Tech. Trying to go to 6-4, become bowl eligible with a win if they can pull off the shocker. SMU Tay, I'm having a hard time understanding how they're ranked 13th in the college football playoff.
Especially with that win over BYU, which little did we know that a game in early September, BYU-SMU, would have such big college football playoff implications. But if the ACC wants to get 2 teams in, man, it feels like they need Miami going into that conference title game undefeated.
Yeah, you know, there are a couple of other games.
His offense off the field while your offense goes to work.
McCord with the first down and a throw and a catch up across the 40 to the 42-yard line, and that's Gadsden. That's now 3 receivers on this Syracuse team up over 500 receiving yards on the year.
And remember, Gadsden's technically a tight end, so he's getting it done from a different spot, and the whole momentum of that first half really changed. That drive where Gadsden had 2 big catches, one of which for a touchdown, really woke up this Syracuse offense.
McCord throws at his Allen. He just stopped on a dime at the 43-yard line, and that's where he shoved out of bounds. Another first down for the Orange.
Again, this is Kyle McCord making difficult throws look easy. He has no leverage on that throw. He's throwing off his back foot on the run. If that's not on a line right there, that safety or the corner might undercut it for an interception. Heck of a throw.
This is Pena, and he's inside the 35. Will be very close to another first down. It is another first down to the 32-yard line. So, I mean, bang, bang, bang right now for McCoy. And they're knocking on the door.
We don't talk about Jeff Nixon, Syracuse's offensive coordinator, as like an air raid guy, so to speak. But, man, this Syracuse offense feels like an air raid approach. They don't care if they're not able to run the ball in a scenario like this.
Gadsden, a hard man to bring down. Carter Davis wrapped him up.
He's just a mismatch, right? You can have him as a tight end and connector of the offensive line and have him be a factor in the run game as a blocker, or you can split him out wide and have him be a legitimate possession receiver. Too athletic for a linebacker, way too big for a nickel safety.
And he is a converted wide receiver. McCord slings it to the sideline, and that is Meeks. And he was right along the sideline, and he is about, I think he's about a foot short of a first down.
This is where we've seen in the past they go the quarterback sneak with no hesitation.
That looked like early movement. And boy, what a killer this is. This is a killer on 2 different fronts, and they might end up picking it up. We'll see.
Full start. Offense, number 7. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
But the point is, that's Meeks, a wide receiver there. You know, Meeks steps out of bounds a yard short of a first down. So that's the first thing that just makes you crazy if you're a coach. Because now you got to go 3rd and 1. And then look what happens.
Yep. And
you know, now you're 3rd and 6, and who knows?
And it's one thing to have that penalty when you're an offensive lineman just trying to get off the ball. When you're a receiver, where you should be looking at the ball regardless, not paying attention to Kyle McCord's clap. It's compounding the issue.
Here comes the blitz. They pick it up, and it is a first down. What a catch made by Pena. I mean, he took a shot after catching that ball. A lot of times you see it squirt loose. I think it was
Look at
Davis
this blitz
who hit.
pickup right here by LeQuint Allen. They say, how has his game grown? Why is he an NFL running back? It's for plays like that, protecting your best player. Kyle McCord, that is. LeQuint Allen probably saying, hey, I'm the best weapon on this team, but that's a great job. You want to get fed as a running back? Protect your passer and allow your team to come up with a 3rd down conversion.
So they do convert on 3rd down and 6. And now McCord, he's had a couple of good runs today, and he'll keep this one and pick up good yardage.
Kyle McCord's legs have been a legitimate factor in this game. Gets flushed out of the pocket. Then you're seeing that receiver on the outside. That's Jameer Thomas, the youngster, getting his first real action. They call him Wiggles, getting popped right there at the cornerbacks, or by the corner for Boston College. But it's a good gain right there from Kyle McCord.
So he picks up 5, second down. Whoa, and it's a touchdown for the Orange. And that is Gill the second. To make it a 3-point game. We brought up earlier, they did not go for 2, Boston College, that last touchdown.
It's such a popular concept for Syracuse. They love it in the red zone. You give the run action, then you pull the ball out, and you got a sharp slant right behind the linebackers. It's a nice route by Gill, taking advantage of the increased increased reps that he's getting today.
Point after is good, and I mean Kyle McCord is red hot. He's white hot. He's connected on 12 straight pass attempts, and this touchdown to make it a 2-point game. You're watching CW Football Saturday, presented by Verizon. Welcome back to Boston. Chestnut Hill, to be precise. Well, not only a beautiful campus, but the surrounding neighborhood and this time of year in New England in the fall. Of course, Bill O'Brien grew up around here. He knows all about it, played collegiately at Brown. He's been a head coach at Penn State, long time in the NFL with the Texans, and now at BC. Martinez out across at 20. Let's go downstairs for more on Castellanos with Trevor Scales.
Just got word that he is out due to a lower body injury. Tom will not return, so that led to the replacement by Grayson James.
Well, Trev, thank you very much. We hope he's going to be all right. He's a great kid, man. He's fun to be around. We met him at the ACC football meetings, you know, back in the summer. What a really cool kid. Look at this. Just bouncing off tacklers. This has been the best game of the season for Robichaux. A lot of people felt like he, you know, was getting too many carries, and Ward wasn't getting enough carries. And oh boy, they've already missed Marlo Wax enough this season already. I mean, he's one of the top linebackers in all of college football. Reaching up under that, looks like shoulder.
While we have a moment, let's take a look at today's Moments of Joy, brought to you by IHOP.
Oh.
Put a smile on your plate.
That sounds good.
Key play in this game, Donovan Ezeraku, the edge rusher for Boston College, coming up with not only the sack, but the safety as well. It was the first safety for Boston College since 2012 when they played Miami, which led to some push-ups.
Yep.
A lot of happy folks.
All right, if you were bellying up tomorrow morning at IHOP, what would you order up?
Give me some chocolate chip pancakes.
Chocolate chip?
I'm more of a sausage guy than a bacon guy. That might
sausage. You got to say it right. Sausage.
People make fun of me how I say coffee too. So give me black coffee, some sausage, chocolate chip pancakes, baby.
Yeah, it sounds good. Excellent running. This guy's not running out of bounds. Robichaux into Syracuse territory. There is a penalty flag down.
Holding. Offense. Number 11.
That's
10-yard
a wide
penalty
receiver,
for the
Lewis
spot
Bond.
foul. First down.
Let's see where they get the right side of the screen. What is it? Bond, Isaiah Bond there. Tugging the inside of the jersey. I didn't see anything egregious there. Lewis Bond, excuse me.
They're starting the final quarter down in Atlanta. Georgia Tech leading Miami 21-16. And Georgia Tech has the ball at the Miami 18-yard line. Another 2 more flags come in. One right where the ball carrier was stopped, Robichaux, and the other from a secondary. Maybe both officials saw the same thing.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense.
Yep.
Number 8. 15-yard penalty. First down.
As we look at the ace cam, they're going to get Justin Barron, the linebacker we've been talking about a bunch. You can see him on the right side of your screen there, coming late. I wonder if they got 8 and 0 mixed up. Deuce Chestnut, the safety for Syracuse. Regardless, it's a penalty on the back of Syracuse.
Boy, the time just ticking and ticking and ticking, closing in on 10:15 to go. It's a 2-point lead for BC, but the Eagles are marching right down the field on the legs of Robichaux. A pair of 100-yard rushers for Boston College against Syracuse today.
I said it last drive, but you look at a run play like that, Syracuse really only 6, maybe 7 guys in the box. This is a Boston College offense. Over 90% of their yards today have come on the ground. I would pack that box. I'd bring in an extra defensive lineman, go down to your 4-down front, and try to establish edge and reduce the push that Boston College is able to get.
Robichaux again. And he'll be short of a first down by a yard, maybe a yard and a half. It'll bring up 3rd down. Boy, a touchdown here could make it mighty tough. And you'd have to believe if they scored a touchdown on this drive that this time they'd go for 2. Look at that.
309 rush yards today compared to only 41 pass yards.
And here's McDonald. You know, we were talking about McDonald, and 2 years he played at UCF. He got a grand total over 2 years of 29 carries for 99 yards. He has rushed for more yards today than in 2 years at UCF. He came into this game with 5 carries for Boston College at 54 yards. Oh, boy. I mean, wide open was Bond. Not a single Orange defender in sight.
This is a great design. Boston College scored on this play versus Virginia Tech early on in this season. You fake like you're running, you fake like you're rolling, and then the defense loses sight of your slot receiver, Lewis Bond, working right to left and then up the middle of the field. That's just a missed opportunity by a backup quarterback getting ahead of himself a little bit. And we're right on that area of the field where, remember, Boston College's their kicking game, it's a concern. How do you make decisions and call plays when you're getting into field goal range?
I'm still just having a really hard time understanding why they did not go for 2 on their last touchdown.
Yeah, it's always that analytics sheet that coaches have, I guess.
But you know what I'm saying. I mean, they were up 29 to 21. If they go for 2, they make it a 10-point game, right?
Yep.
It's not like you're still in a 2-possession game at 9.
And that's what those guys are thinking about. It's Bill O'Brien and his special teams coordinator talking about at what yardage is a field goal become possible.
And the catch is made. It'll be short, I think, by a yard. All right, what do you do here, Max? You going for it?
You shanked one in this range early on in this game. It was actually even easier early on in the game. You got to go for it. You've got an offensive line that's established push all day. You have to feel confident about your ability to pick it up. It's a good job by Bond there, having the awareness of where the sticks are. That's not easy to do on an under route, working left to right in the middle of the field to know where the sticks are.
All right, so here it is. 4th down. And look at this, they're going to throw it. And wide open in the end zone. How about that call by Will Loing, the offensive coordinator? Jeremiah Franklin on a 4th down and a yard. A team that's run for over 300 yards in the game. And I mean to tell you, that couldn't have fooled Syracuse any worse.
And he's going to line up as the fullback. The touchdown guy in the here leaks out. They have a fullback who goes into motion. Oh, but they're going to get 17. Jeremiah Franklin on a corner route. It's a great job by Bill O'Brien, his staff, Will Loing, to trust your backup quarterback, especially after he botched the throw earlier on in the drive, to come back to him.
That is a money drive right there by Boston College. They used to call them the Big Uglies. Remember those days Madden called the offensive linemen?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
getting it done for BC. You're watching CW Football Saturday, brought to you by Pacific You're watching CW Football Saturday, brought to you by Pacific Life, creating financial security for over 150 years. Boy, you talk about a money drive right there. After Syracuse had drawn within 2, 10 plays, 78 yards, chewing up nearly 4.5 minutes. And on a 4th and a yard, they throw it to the end zone. Franklin, the touchdown. Still plenty of time left in this game, just under 7 minutes. And I mean, you know, Syracuse can score in like 3 plays.
Again, how big is that safety, though? Up 9 points. Now it's a 2-possession ball game.
Let's go to the studio right now. Well, you got that right. And as Max brought up earlier, it seems like every time we're throwing it back to you, Mike, the last 3-4 weeks, Miami's always in a tight game. But Cam Ward finds a way to bail them out, or at least has every time until now. And that's nearly an entire quarter to play in that game. Georgia Tech scored that touchdown in the opening couple of minutes of the 4th quarter. Clock running, and they're going to hand it off. 6:25, and you need 2 scores. You need a touchdown, and you need a field goal.
You're playing an offense that can run the ball well. You might be in 4-down territory this drive, knowing that, like you said, Tom, you got to get 2 scores.
Well, 3rd and a yard, they go ahead and pick it up, but they better get moving a little bit here. Like you said, you're at 6 minutes.
In fact, here's an Ohio State reference for you, Tom. We were in Bill O'Brien's office yesterday, and he pointed out the Ohio State-Penn State game from last week. Ohio State got the ball late in the game, used their run game to not even give the ball back to the opposing team. If you're Syracuse, you got to think that if we punt this football, we might not get it back.
You know, people forget O'Brien was actually named the offensive coordinator under Ryan Day, leaving the New England Patriots, and he had left to go to Ohio State. There's a catch down the middle of the field, and then what, a month later, less than a month later, not even that, couple of weeks later, he gets offered the head coaching job in his hometown.
Nice job by Kyle McCord finding that window. Great timing. Gadsden turns around the linebacker, finds the vacated space. A lot of a field concept there.
Blitz coming, they pick it up, and it's Meeks. And step for step with him. I tell you, one thing if you're Boston College, they're playing so many young players in their secondary, and man, this as a group has a chance to be a really good group.
Without a doubt, Max Tucker, cool story, was the last guy they signed in the 2022 recruiting class. Went from a Pipeline High School local kid, Catholic Memorial High School, and really been a key part of this defense, locking down one of those corner spots.
I mean, you got Carter Davis, redshirt freshman as a safety. You got a sophomore, KP Price. You've got Ashton McShane, true freshman, who's starting after the injury to Jackson, and Max Tucker only a sophomore. McCord throws it out of bounds. He's under heavy pressure there by Rooks. Rooks, a transfer from Michigan.
When we've been in this scenario in the past, this has been when Donovan Ezaraku's pinned his ears back. It's a good job by George Rooks, defensive tackle that usually lines up inside Ezaraku. 3rd and long, though. Keep an eye out for number 6. He's the defensive end to the bottom of your screen. This is where he's been a factor. How does Syracuse deal with him?
3rd down and 10. 4:54 to go. Again, there's that back shoulder throw, and this time a little too tall. Again, that's the matchup of Tucker defending Meeks.
Talked about this in the first half. Syracuse's ability to win on the outside lanes. Haven't really done that so far in the 4th quarter. I thought Meeks jumped a little early. I feel like if he took one more step and then jumped, he wouldn't have come up short. Trying to use that big frame of his.
4th down, this is pretty much a game right here. Timeout going to be called by Boston College, and we're going to take the timeout with them. Huge huge stay alive play coming up for the Orange. Well, now you can get game day ready from your team's merch to Tailgate Must-Have. Scan the QR code and shop now. It's a 4th down and 10 for Syracuse. Trying to stay alive.
Got to have something with Gadsden involved, the tight end to the top of your screen.
McCord steps into the throw, and it's incomplete. And Boston College will take over on downs. And this could be the 3rd loss of the season by Brown. You know, I want to correct something here. I mean, I'm in my Ohio University math here a second. I was more concerned about how much they would be up rather than down. Take us through this play.
Yeah, 4th and long, obviously got to have it. 2 verticals up the right sideline and just great coverage across the way. We said they got to look Gadsden's way. That's what they did that, but you got a linebacker dropping underneath. I think in hindsight, you'd love to have that slot receiver try to get outside that corner, but it's just good coverage across the board.
So now it's just going to be a steady dose of turning around and handing the ball off. It's really as it's been the entire game. But I just want to finish that up real quick. I was talking about the 2, and I was thinking more about getting ahead by 10. If you fail the 2, you're only ahead by 8. So it would be a 1-score game. I was thinking about 9 rather than 8, and so Bill O'Brien, and for a lot of you watching, I beg your pardon. Duh.
And for Fran Brown, still got your 3 timeouts. You got the 2-minute timeout as well. If you can get off the field here, this is still a ball game.
Closing in on 4 minutes left. Play clock down to 4. This running game, though, has just been sensational for Boston College. And that's what Bill O'Brien told us yesterday. Another timeout spent by Syracuse. He said, look, we're a run-first team. And he said, it's my belief that you've got to be able to run the ball. And there are a lot of teams in college football that don't think much into that anymore.
Let's take a look at today's player of the game, brought to you by Progressive Program, providing vehicles to deserving veterans, helping our heroes drive their lives forward. Learn more at keystoprogress.com. It's Kye Robichaux, him along with his buddy Jordan McDonald. They have carried the load today. Over 40 rushing attempts. He's had 27 of them. It's been the story of the game. We talked about it. Over 90% of Boston College's yardage today has come on the ground. It's what Bill O'Brien wanted to do, and the recipes work so far today. Now it's just a matter of finishing it out here.
Hand off to Robichaux. You know, it's funny, you know, we talked about when we were coming in here, there were some fans that felt like, you know, that Robichaux was coming off an excellent year, that he was getting too many carries, and that Trayshawn Ward wasn't getting enough carries. Robichaux was averaging 3.8 per carry, while Ward was going 5.2. Well, we have not called Ward's name all day, and it's been the duo of Robichaux with 198 rushing yards on 28 carries, and McDonald, his first significant playing time of the year. He had 5 carries all year long, and he has 15 carries for 133 yards.
Remember, this is a Boston College punting unit that has struggled. Multiple punters this year, hasn't been good. If you're Bill O'Brien, you're just want to make sure this one gets off clean and there's no shank.
He got it off, and it's a good punt. Fair catch by Pena at the 20. So you're down 37-28. 2-score game. And you have 3 minutes and 42 seconds left.
And you got one of the best signal callers in college football. Don't need to change the identity of your offense. Just go back to work, utilize your tempo. I'd expect a lot of those empty 4 and 5 receiver sets, and lean on your quarterback, Kyle McCord, to take you down the field.
Meeks on the crossing pattern, and a first down, and the ball comes loose. It was stripped out of there.
I think he got that back. I don't know how.
And he did get it back. How about that?
I don't know how he got this ball back. He's trying to fight for extra yardage. Jackson Meeks. He's got Davis, Carter Davis wrapped around him, and that ball's out.
McCord hurries him up to the line of scrimmage.
Paula was right there.
Gadsden to the 40-yard line. That'll be another first down. But the clock continues to run down to 3 minutes. And there's an injured player. That's Crouch. Oh boy, he's wobbling. Hopefully he's all right.
It's a linebacker room that's already thin. Cam Arnold's out. Your starting linebacker. Crouch is next to him. Bang, bang play there. Gets his bell rung, trying to bring Gadsden down. If I'm Syracuse, too, it feels like the outside lane balls, the vertical routes, those are 50-50 at best, feels like today. I'd work the middle of the field, in-breaking routes, Gadsden in the slot, maybe even LeQuint Allen on a little delayed route from his running back position. And trust Kyle McCord to make reads and throw the ball into tight windows over the middle of the field.
Meeks once more, and that's another first down. Syracuse has 1 timeout remaining, and Meeks is having to hobble off to the sideline. Man, he's their main weapon. Seven catches for nearly 100 yards, 92 for Meeks. Gadsden just goes over 100 with his 8th catch. Penalty flag comes in, and then another one comes in, and he's hurt as he got chopped in the thigh area. Oh boy, your 2 biggest pass receiving
ineligible player
weapons.
downfield. Offense, number 55. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, it's an RPO, and Kyle McCord hung onto the ball just a beat too long, which then, because it's a run-pass option, you have linemen downfield blocking the run, and it's just a Charlie horse right in his thigh. So you can see Kyle McCord hang on to the ball. You're taught as a quarterback, you got to get rid of it right away if it's an RPO, or else you're going to have illegal man downfield.
So Meeks is out of the game. Gadsden's out of the game. That one was tipped, nearly intercepted, and then nearly caught by Allen.
I was thinking Kyle McCord's lucky this wasn't an interception, but then BC's lucky LeQuint Allen didn't come down with this, because if he catches that ball right there, there's no one down the field. He might go in for a touchdown. Lucky on both sides. Bang, bang play there. And with Gadsden being banged up, Meeks being banged up, who does Kyle McCord look to?
Meeks is back in the game, but he's limping on that pass pattern. They set up the screen to Allen, and he's close to the 10-yard line, and that'll take us to the 2-minute timeout. Syracuse with a fighting chance here, trying to get in the end zone quick and get it back.
Let's take a look at today's game summary presented by Pacific Life. Creating financial security for over 150 years. Boston College, from the jump, really, their run game has controlled this game. They tried to open up the pass game at times, but at the end of the day, their ground game's been it, and Kyle McCord's kept his team in it as well. The passing attacks come alive for the second half for Syracuse, and the passing attack, only 13 attempts for Boston College, one of which right there for a touchdown. Backup quarterback getting in there, Grayson James finding his first touchdown pass of the day.
Robichaux, a career high in rush attempts, 28, rushing yards, 198, and 2 touchdowns, ties a career high. Ball tipped at the line of scrimmage, second down.
Progression called mesh wheel for Syracuse. The wheel by the running back, the mesh by the tight end, trying to get your 2 best players involved. LeQuint Allen on the wheel route, and Aronde Gadsden working right to left on an underneath route. Good to see Gadsden back healthy, but credit the coverage by Boston College.
And Gadsden the man they're looking for, but it's too high. Third down. And Gadsden clearly is still limping. So too is Jackson Meeks. And they've been their two best pass catchers in this game.
And it's 4-down territory here. I thought the drive before when Syracuse had 3rd and long and they elected to take a vertical shot on 3rd down and did not get it, it put yourself in an unreasonable 4th and long. I would not be surprised here if they throw underneath to try to maybe give yourself run after the catch ability and an easier 4th down.
There you go. They find Gadsden, but he is tackled at the 8, and they're going to go ahead and kick the field goal now. Clock running. They better hurry up. And Gadsden's limping off the field. Fran Brown going to kick the field goal. And again, this is why Bill O'Brien continued to kick points after rather than going for 2. I was thinking more about, you lose on a field goal potentially, but by doing so, he kept it in a 9-point game rather than an 8-point game, which would have been a 1-score game. So there's the field goal.
And I don't mind that decision, but then on 3rd down, try to give me a route to pick this thing up, because the difference of 5 yards at that point for your field goal kicker is not that big of a deal. Maybe Boston College disagrees, but I would have thought a dig route or a comeback route, try to pick up the 1st down. The hitch, Boston College will take that all day long on 3rd down. We'll rally and force you to kick a field goal.
All right, so a 6-point spread.
Is now wearing number 47.
And then now the decision here for Syracuse. Do you kick it with 1 timeout, trust your defense? You got to go onside.
Yeah, you got to go.
Got to go onside.
Yeah, because the game basically would be almost over. Almost, not quite.
Always intrigued to see how special teams coordinators doctor up their onside kicks. Some people just go straight at it. Others have trickeration. You can see Syracuse having 2 players around the kicker, which you never know what that ends up being. All about numbers. Can you get an extra number?
This is going to be... Oh, and they got it! It looks like the Orange picked it up. There's a penalty flag down on the sideline.
This is going to be close.
Brady Denneberg perfectly 2 hops it. It pops high into the air. And this is a huge call here.
It's got to go 10 yards. The referee that threw the flag did not have the angle. He was not looking down the 45-yard line.
Illegal block prior to the ball going 10 yards. Number 10, kicking team. The ball legally belongs to Syracuse. Therefore, the penalty will be enforced from the previous spot, 5 yards, and re-kick.
How about that?
It's a call you don't always hear. So the question here is not did he touch it before 10 yards, but his buddy blocked before 10 yards. Yep, you're seeing right there as Kye Robichaux goes up for the air. I don't even think he intentionally did that. Looks like it was Fidel Diggs, 10. I don't think
Braden Davis is the alternate number 10.
Braden Davis. I don't even think he was intentionally blocking per se. It was just that Kye Robichaux was kind of jumping in his face. Gonna see it here. Look at Kye Robichaux, 5. He goes and tries to high point the ball, and I think Syracuse, it's too bad the Syracuse player didn't go up for the ball as well, because I don't think he would have got called for a block. Close call there, but the right call.
We'll try it again. And the ball is on the ground. And it looks like BC covered it up. Whoa, man. That was close. Big hit. And I think it's McGowan at the bottom of the pile.
Those are 2 great onside kicks.
Sure is.
Credit the kicker. Give your team a shot.
The Orange with 1 timeout remaining. And a lot of the fans here making their way towards the exits. Boston College is 1:14 away.
Covered by Boston College, first down.
From ending a 3-game losing streak. Look at that hit.
Gave yourself a shot. It's right there. Good job by the hands team for Boston College. It's not easy.
That's your running back making that hit. That's Allen.
Ball's bouncing around. You come up with it. Unless there's no funny business, securing yourself
After the
a
play
win
was
as well.
over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense, number 0, his first of the game. 15-yard penalty.
How about Boston College? Losers of 3 in a row. They started out this year, they were 4-1, and their loss was back when they dropped a close one at Missouri, and that's when Missouri was ranked in the top 10 of the country at the time. And you're thinking, hey, look out for BC. But then all of a sudden, a loss to 4-2, a loss to 4-3, a loss to 4-4. Knowing the schedule that Boston College has coming up.
That's
Final
the key
timeout
point.
spent by Syracuse. You know, they got to play next week at SMU, who's lost 1 game all year long. They play North Carolina, who's playing well, playing a lot better. That game will be here. And then they play Pitt, who has only lost 1 game. And you got to find 2 wins, including this game here today, which they're going to get to become bowl eligible.
They needed this one. And if Bill O'Brien finds himself getting this team to a bowl game, that'd be a huge accomplishment. Remember, Bill O'Brien, he got hired in February, which a month or 2 difference might not sound like a lot to you sitting at home, but it really handicapped what he was able to do from a building your roster perspective, because you missed that first transfer portal window. You don't get a signing class by missing December or January, so the roster is kind of what it is, and he's made the most of it. And to get this team, when you're behind the 8 ball to start the offseason, to a bowl game would be a huge accomplishment.
So we are at 1 minute. Backup quarterback taking over, Grayson James, when Castellanos was injured. But the story here, the offensive line. Bowery, Taylor, Kendall, Conley, Trapillo. Those 5 guys have started every game this season along that offensive front for the Eagles. And today, man, did they deliver the goods. Over 300 rushing yards. And the 3-game losing streak is over here in Chestnut Hill.
Coming off a bye week, had to right the ship, couldn't let the season get away from you, couldn't continue the losing streak. You beat a good Syracuse team too. It's a Syracuse team that's already bowl eligible, that had momentum on their side, had the confidence coming from behind last week to beat Virginia Tech. If you're Bill O'Brien, you come away with a very, very quality conference win.
I want to thank